So Jessica Ferrari, what is Memento Media?
Well, in one line, we save life stories. And what that means is we use oral history and documentary practices to record people's life stories, and then we make personalised documentaries for them. Yeah.
Where did that come from? Like, where did that idea start?
It actually started as sad. As a documentary maker and oral historian, I've recorded heaps of stories, but I missed a really important one, which was my own grandmother's. And I could have recorded it, but I was when I thought about it, it was because I didn't know how to broach it. I didn't know how to bring it up. And so what that set me on a path to record all of my remaining grandparents. And then when friends and family heard about me doing that, they were like, that is awesome. Can you do it for me? And so then it kind of grew organically out of that. Yeah.
So just a pre-existing market just appeared. From there, what were the next steps in terms of, I guess, formalizing the business a bit more?
Well, I got oral history qualifications because I like to do things properly, and then I set up a website and started advertising it. It wasn't like booming business, but it was sort of a steady flow of commissioned work, and mostly based on word of mouth. So I guess I would probably have called it like a lifestyle business. I've got kids, so I was working a few days a week. So that's kind of where I was at until fairly recently.
Were there any supports that you accessed along the way in terms of programming?
I got some grants to do some documentary work from the federal government, and also I'm in Moreland, so there's some business supports in Moreland. There's Moreland's Business Women Network and friends and family and that kind of stuff as well, kind of bounce ideas off. So that kind of got me to a point, where I was just running the business as a lifestyle business. But then last year, I participated in the Foundry program, which through State Library of Victoria and Acne X, and that was just like mind blowing and life changing.
What did you get the most out of Foundry?
Lots of things. Like at first it was sort of a shift in my mindset of thinking, this is just me doing my thing, to thinking, well, maybe this can be something bigger and maybe this can be sustainable, so I'm not based on project work, and maybe this can be more than just me. So shifting from small scale thinking to sort of large scale thinking, and hugely important to have the other, I learned so much from having the other startups, that you're seeing and you're working alongside day to day. So that was hugely useful, and having mentors to kind of guide you and keep you back on track. Oh, there's so many things. And actually talking to the customers and trying to find out what they wanted.
Were there any learnings or failures in that journey that helped kind of shape the offering that you're providing?
Yeah, absolutely. So initially I went in thinking that my target market were genealogists. And so I'd advertised in genealogy magazines and that's sort of where I'd been targeting. But what I learned when I spoke to a bunch of them, so I did a lot of customer interviews, and what I learned was they were interested in family history, but they were interested in sort of the treasure hunt of finding the facts or finding that birth certificate or finding the next link on the family tree, not on actually the stories and the narratives that surrounded that. So that was a huge learning, and I could have spent years trying to market to that group when actually they weren't my market. So that was huge.
I think the audience would be quite interested in what life is like during this current COVID period. So could you potentially just paint a picture of what work for you is like during COVID?
Yeah, absolutely. So I found it really hard to stay motivated. I've got 2 children, and so my husband's been working full time, and so we've been juggling the home learning with the children. So that's been really hard. But also I found motivation hard in terms of because it doesn't seem like real life a bit, because it's like we're on a giant camp or something, and so making myself get up and get dressed and go in and do the work, I found that really difficult. But yeah, the thing that sort of kept me going, I guess, is because I can't do my usual work of going into aged care facilities and capturing people's stories that way. So I'm pivoting to provide, rather than me going in and recording the stories, I'm providing tools so that families can do it themselves. And sort of this has really presented a good opportunity for me in terms of how we can use tech to help people to do it themselves.
So is that through like video calls and app-based? Like how would families like start creating those stories?
Yeah, well, that's what we're looking at now is how do we facilitate that and get a good experience. So I'm working with developers at the moment. They're building a prototype app which will prompt families through a process of asking each other questions and recording it and making it about connection. So make it about the family, they haven't seen each other for a while. Make it a way for them to sit down and learn more about each other, because none of us have any news. Our street got excited when someone ordered pizza the other day. So let's look back in our past and let's spend a bit of time there with each other and get to know each other better. So we're going to once the app's up and running, I'll be prototyping that with real life people and see whether that works and how they feel about it.
Yeah, I guess there's an opportunity that to like reframe it to more family exploration versus, I guess, that loss-based reaction to on like how do we not let that story be missed.
Yeah, exactly. And that was something that actually came out of the Foundry. So one of my other startups who were in the Foundry sort of said to me one day, she said, "Oh, Jess, look, I love what you do, but I think I would never use your products because I wouldn't want to admit to my grandma that, that I thought she was going to die." And I was like, oh my goodness, like that was a total aha moment. I was like, that's the barrier to people purchasing my products on a larger scale is that they don't, it's awkward to face death, and it is for everybody. And so what I found as well when I did find my people and I was doing the customer interviews with them was that the people that were attracted to my services were people who had experienced loss in sort of the last 5 years. And so I was like, okay, so that's a barrier, but that's a trigger and a barrier. So how can we make this not about the fact that Nana's getting old, but how can we make it about let's all celebrate and let's all learn more about each other. And then it's not just about Nan, it's about everyone. And it becomes a multi-generational experience about connection. Yeah, it was great.
I also hear on the grapevine that you're a bit of a grants maven and you know a thing or two about grants. But for those viewing who obviously cash flow, getting financial support is crucial. Any words of advice on just navigating that entire world of grant funding?
Well, yeah, I did used to work for the government assessing grads, so that sort of gives me a sort of secret insight into it. But yeah, it's absolutely like there's a government grant portal, so sign up to that and get notified about all the grants. But also think about when you're writing your grant, look really closely at the guidelines and what it is, what are their the key achievements that they're trying to get out of the grant, and craft your grant application from that perspective, not from what you want to do and why you think your thing's a great thing, which I'm sure it is, but think about it from the perspective of how can I prove to these people that by giving me money, I'm going to reach the outcomes that they're looking for. So yeah. And yeah.
And there's just so much out there just in this conversation. I think you tapped on Moreland, which would be local government. Foundry would be state, and then federal. Like there's different levels and there's different pockets out there that you can access. Just in wrapping up, what are you looking forward to the most as businesses and society re-emerges? What are you looking forward to the most?
Like real life connection, like talking to real life people. And because I'm really a people person, and so I found it really difficult in the COVID environment to not have connection with people, in the same room. I think there's a different energy with talking to people in the same room. So I'm really looking forward to that, and looking forward to getting into a space where I can share and collaborate and learn from other people and share with other people. Yeah.
Thanks so much for that, and thank you for your time. We'll pop down some links so people can find out more about your work. But thank you, Jess. Have a great day.
Thank you.